This company right here is valued at $80 million. This is YouWare, the wannabe YouTube of vibe coding. It's only 4 months old, has barely any users, and I bet you've never heard of them because the product doesn't really work. So how is it worth $80 million? It's because VCs are throwing ungodly sums of money at AI projects right now. Many teams with half-decent ideas are able to get millions of dollars of funding, but most of these projects are just lighting money on fire because they don't solve a real problem and no one is actually interested in using them. Notice that a trending project from YouWare has only 18 views. 18 views. That means no one cares about these projects. I waste hours every week trying out new tools that turn out to be garbage. That is the problem that needs solving. A platform with a project showcase that hooks viewers and then links them to a complete tutorial on how to create that exact cool project is what is really missing. YouTube's algorithm would bury a 12-hour tutorial with zero editing, but an interested user would be willing to watch such a thing at 3x speed and pause when they got stuck while recreating the same project. Over the next 10 minutes, we're going to vibe code the MVP while focusing on 5 key vibe coding lessons, test it for product market fit, and filter the internet for a team of co-founders via this video. As we go along, ask yourself, is this a product you would use? How can it be made better? And do you want to help build it? So here's how it started. I literally just copied the YouWare URL into Replit and asked it to clone it because I didn't know where else to start. I was just experimenting. I didn't have the highest hopes because Replit Agent v1 had been really bad. Then I was impressed right from the get-go when it actually, of its own volition, took a screenshot of the website. Over the next 6 minutes, it did a fairly impressive amount of coding. For some reason, I have no idea why, it inverted the color scheme from white to black and green. Finally, it said it had completed everything. So I was actually kind of excited at this point. It looked kind of good. It had copied one of the most annoying features, namely the pop-up. Of all the features that had, the absolute worst one is the only one that worked. Because when I went around to click on the links, like the Explorer, Create Projects, Blog, everything, just broken. Nothing existed. No backend, no databases, no authentication. Basically just a nice-looking husk of a website and 47 separate occasions. The AI told me it had implemented a feature, solved a problem, and it didn't. So I'm completely serious. You have to check, and that was about 34% of the time. So really, the workflow you have to have when you're building a website like this is ask the AI to code, then go test the feature, see if it actually worked. Don't trust, because if you do and try to build on top of it later, you could have just a mess of bugs stacked on top of each other that, if the AI says it's fixed, click it, test it. Make sure that form can submit. Make sure that feature really works. Because a lot of the time you're going to get an error message, and if it's right in context, all the recent changes it's made and whatnot, it's much easier to fix right then and there rather than in the future. You need to be specific with AI. The more specific you are, the better your results. Now this is a lesson I keep learning because anytime I'm pushing the limits of my own understanding where it's harder to be specific, I tend to resort to being vague. For instance, when I asked the AI to create a time field for the project so we could see how long a project took to complete, that seemed reasonable at first, but no. It came back with just a text box. Users could type in purple as their time. So I had to be more specific. Ask for a numeric answer with options of hours, minutes, days. Then I was able to get it. Same deal with the admin portal. I asked for it to be made functional, because it's not like I've spent a ton of time thinking about what exactly goes into an admin portal. What I got was a pretty display with dead buttons. So I had to really think, what do I actually want? Okay, we want to be able to suspend users. And what does that mean? It means that we're going to hide their profiles and all their projects so ordinary users can't see them and they aren't recommended in the algorithm. And then we wanted to be able to delete people permanently, whereas suspensions should be able to be revoked. Once I told the AI exactly the functionality I wanted, it was able to implement it. It was pretty impressive that it was then able to correctly remove them just with that from the algorithm, make them disappear, and have the suspension feature actually work. Suspending someone made them disappear, unsuspending them made them come back. Deletions also were permanent. It all just worked. Maybe vague prompts have a 20-ish% success rate. Specific ones, 80 plus. It's pretty good. Another impressive example where I actually remembered to be specific from the get-go was when I was redesigning the layout Explore homepage. I wanted it to have a following row of YouTube-like projects, but with the Twitter following functionality. Then I wanted to have trending, another row, and I wanted to have the recommendations be infinite scroll below. So I sat back, closed my eyes, and visualized this sort of Twitter, YouTube hybrid, and then wrote down this multi-row format that I wanted. A couple of minutes of thinking saved easily 5 to 10 times as much debugging. Sometimes the best thing to do with ChatGPT is just to open a new chat and just forget about all the crap that happened before. When you build the website, it's a little bit harder because, well, you can't just trash the whole website. I mean, you could, but if you're 12 hours in, that's not a very appealing idea. So the equivalent to that is demand a complete and total rethink and a totally new approach to whatever is causing the infinite loop that the AI is seemingly never going to get out of. Some problems cannot be fixed incrementally. You just have to go with the nuclear option. For instance, with the integrating Stripe payment into the website, I had at least 6 errors, and the problem that was really frustrating was the error messages were all the same. The AI wasn't doing anything. It kept saying it had fixed things, it kept trying different approaches. Absolutely nothing in my experience was changing. So it didn't seem like it had found the root cause at all. A full hour of this, and I still hadn't gotten anywhere. Every error was the same. The AI just kept rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. It was never going to fix the problem. So eventually I just got mad and told the AI, stop being stupid. You've got to rethink everything from the ground up and then systematically implement your new architecture. This fixed the problem within 5 minutes. It was almost as good as opening a new chat. Watch the shift. It abandoned the subscription mess entirely. It built a direct payment intent system instead. 5 minutes later, payments worked. After an hour of failures, 5 minutes to success. This caused it to get out of the previous rut where it was trying to more or less reinvent how you would hook up a Stripe payment gateway from scratch, which frankly it's not smart enough to do, and caused it to do what it should have from the beginning, actually use templated normal procedures for hooking up Stripe gateway. 5 minutes instead of an hour. The same pattern repeated with the admin authentication. When it first built the admin portal, guess what? Anyone, including the normal non-admin users, could just log in and enter the admin portal. Kind of a problem. That's VibeCoding security for you. Despite the AI promising it had solved the issue, because it did recognize the gravity of it, it still was completely not fixed at all. So eventually I demanded it to make a complete systematic list of everything it needed to implement to make this work, and then it was able to get it correct. My rule of thumb going along was, if I had the same error message 3 times in a row with the AI claiming it had created a fix, that was a good indicator I was in a rut and needed to go nuclear and demand a complete rethink. You shouldn't jump to rethinks immediately on one error. It may be that on a more complex topic, as long as you're making incremental improvement, you'll get there soon. But repeated errors with no improvement, you just have to break the loop and start over fresh. So this lesson took me an embarrassingly long time to learn. On the 3rd day, when I was trying to set up the admin portal, couldn't find it. I was getting 404 errors when I tried to put in the \admin URL. The AI was decorating a room that I couldn't even access. And I finally took a screenshot of the 404 error, and that just allowed it to understand at a different level, a picture really was worth 1,000 words, that the root was broken and what console errors it needed to actually look for to figure out how to address this issue. So a similar thing happened with the Stripe payment. Even with the new approach, there was still an issue with getting the subscription part to work. It needed some of my Stripe credentials, and since I didn't know anything about setting up a Stripe gateway, I didn't even know which of the multiple different IDs and stuff I needed to actually submit. And what ended up working was taking a screenshot of my Stripe credential page, and it was able to pick out the exact price ID it actually needed, copy and paste it in, and kaboom, it was over. The problem was fixed, and the payment actually worked. Another example was when I switched the color scheme from black and green, this caused an issue with the previously white text, which had been visible, becoming invisible on the white background. The AI didn't see this as a problem because, well, it could see the text was still in the code. However, as a human, I couldn't read it. But taking a screenshot of it allowed it to realize and address the problem, because previously it was failing, not realizing it needed to change the background code. It was rewriting text and crap. So the protocol is, if the AI isn't figuring it out from the console errors, then a screenshot is a great way of being extra specific about the problem and allowing the AI to maybe get at the root of what is really going on. The new vision abilities are very helpful. Screenshots are truth the AI can't ignore. Descriptions can be vague, even when you try to be specific. Choose a very specific, very clear, ground truth screenshot. So this mistake haunts me. Look at my original prompt. I just said clone this website. I didn't mention anything about the colors I wanted, and so the AI randomly inverted the color scheme in a way I found ugly. And I didn't think this was a big deal. I thought it would be easy to just, switch the color scheme later. And totally not true. Hours of pure pain. Every single component broke when I made this small change on the 4th day. The comments, they became invisible. Project titles, gone. Buttons? What button? Look at the commit history. The project cards required 17 edits. The user profile, 12. The navbar, 9. It took 4 hours just to fix something that one sentence in the beginning could have prevented. You really need to build your foundations first. Don't build the whole edifice and then realize you have to swap out something in the foundation, because the whole thing is going to crash down. The truth is, had I from the get-go specified in one big comprehensive prompt to clone UWare, that would have saved at least 9 hours. Every quick decision early can cost hours later. Every thoughtful minute up front can save 10 in debugging. If you wanted to replicate this website now, what you should do is take the entire chat history of all my stumbling and bumbling around, paste it into Claude, ask Claude to come up with an extremely precise prompt for exactly what you want, and you could come close to one-shotting the website. If you're mad I didn't show the full vibe coding tutorial here, you haven't been paying attention. Of course it's on YouFlock. That's the whole point. The platform teaches itself. My Calendly is also there on the project about building YouFlock. Because if you don't have the time to test out the MVP, then I don't have the time to talk to you as a co-founder. Will YouFlock reach $80 million? I don't know. But with the right team, I believe it will do far more. Because unlike UWare, this solves a real problem. Learning AI tools that are too complex for any single YouTube video is an incredible pain. For any VCs with money to burn, hey, I'm pretty good with pyrotechnics. You're probably going to get a bigger bang for your buck with me than most. Imagine if this actually works. This video becomes more than a tutorial. It becomes startup history. People looking back will see the exact moment it started. Success isn't a straight line. It's more like a meandering path that becomes exponential due to hard work from the right team, ruthlessly iterating from idea to action to feedback again and again and again. I prototyped YouFlock, but to make it real, I need engineers, growth hackers, and AI tool obsessive. Especially if you have the skills, but can't break through in Silicon Valley, this could be your shot. So head to YouFlock, use it, break it, tell me what sucks. Find my project, book the call, because someone is going to build the future of AI learning. Why not us? Why not today?